Hello, Crystal Palace. Welcome to the Upper Norwood Library Hub live lunch. This is intended as something positive, fun, entertaining, a way of keeping connected with the community, maybe finding out about things you didn't already know about, and spreading some positivity during this time. So something I've been thinking about quite a bit this week, it's World Voice Day on Thursday.
Hello, Crystal
and
Palace.
as a singer,
Welcome to the Upper Norwood Library Hub
live lunch. This is intended as something positive. It's World Voice Day on Thursday, and in isolation, it's something I've been thinking about a lot, that it's our voices have become more important than ever before. And so many people have said that they are speaking to friends and family maybe more than they ever have done. And thank goodness for the technology to actually allow us to do that, to speak to people we care about and to see them while we do. And it's really made me think about the importance of our voices. So as a singer and teacher, it's always been something that's been very important to me, but now more than ever. So my guest today is Jane Oakshott, who is a voice coach and a trustee of the British Voice Association, and also happens to be my mother. So Jane, welcome, lovely to have you. Tell us a bit about you and what got you interested in voice in the first place.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for suggesting I come on this. It's lovely to see you, have an excuse to talk to you, and to say hello to people in Crystal Palace, particularly members of Crystal Palace a cappella choir, whom I've met on several occasions. I think the exciting thing about voice is that we're all into it right from the moment we're born. I mean, voice is universal. We share it with the rest of creation. And it just happens I was really particularly interested, even when small, in different languages, listening to different accents, trying them out, trying to sing, but sadly failing miserably until you took me in hand a long time afterwards. And I finally came to voice coaching as a way of making a living whilst I still had 3 small children. And it's been an absolute joy. I trained in drama and French originally, and then went off and did lots of theatre directing and running festivals, that sort of thing, then had children and didn't want anything that took me away from home. So voice coaching was a practical thing, and I hadn't realised what a complete inspiration and joy it would be to help people sound and feel better with their voice and to enjoy speaking.
So what are some of the themes that you kind of see going through your teaching? There must be things that come up all the time.
Oh, definitely. I think it's interesting that when we're babies, we just open our mouths and express how we feel. Babies have no self criticism. They just say what they want and that's it. As soon as we start standing up, our voices get limited because of the way our breathing muscles work. And I think sometimes those limitations have an effect on character. We become shy. We become self-critical in a very unhelpful way. Some of us, not all of us, obviously. And it's very interesting that voice coaching, thinking about how to make the voice machine work better, how to oil the wheels of it, can help you with relationships, because suddenly you're not muffling back. A lot of people come. That was your question, wasn't it? What do people mostly come with? Usually it's things like they feel people don't hear them, that they may be in a meeting and never get listened to. They may feel that people don't like what they say, and therefore they muffle back. They start talking, almost swallowing the words rather than putting them out there. And this, of course, is anyone. You don't have to be in an acting profession or a lawyer or a teacher to be aware of the way you use your voice. And very often people come because either they mumble or they feel a lump in their throat when they've been talking a while, their voice gets tired, they feel boring because their voice has gone on to a monotone like this and they feel people aren't listening. And it happens to everyone, doesn't it? Everyone does that. And it's ghastly. You wish you were somewhere else. And it's difficult to know what to do with it. So that's what brought me into voice coaching. Everyone has a voice, but not everyone feels happy with how they sound. And therefore, they can't be as powerful. They can't fulfill their objectives as well as they could if they were happier when they open their mouth. I suppose, the vital key is most people come because for some reason they lack confidence. And voice coaching, for all sorts of reasons, it isn't just about the voice, it's about the whole way of being and seeing yourself.
But and a lot of that is you can very much gain confidence from learning how to do something better, can't you? So from what you were saying just now, it can very much be a negative kind of ongoing cycle because you feel you're not heard, and then you start to take that on, and physically and vocally things change to meet that expectation, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Absolutely. Yes, it does. And the exciting thing is that in the way that your performance, the way of speaking, the way of being, when you walk into a room, the way that can have an effect on your mind. So if you're walking, for example, sort of slightly hunched over because you're in your head wishing you weren't there, that can have a real negative effect on your brain. And it's difficult to self-talk yourself out of that. But the exciting thing is it's really easy to make your body open out if you've practiced in private. Like anyone who does sport knows that if you're balanced and the muscles are working properly, then you perform better. You can make your physical being muscles work better, and that has an effect on your brain as well. And as soon as you do the look of confidence from inside, you can seem okay. And then gradually you begin to find with practice, you do actually feel okay. You're not just doing confidence, you're feeling it and feeling comfortable wherever you are.
It's fascinating, isn't it, how the physical side and the mental side really, really interlink.
The body, the soul, the spirits, they match together. It's wonderful. It's a very, very well designed setup. Whoever did that. And of course, so much. I mean, you'll know about this because of singing. It's the same mechanism. So much is down to proper use of breath.
Yes.
So many people who come to me, they come with their elbows tight to their ribs and slightly hunched over, and they'll say, I don't think I've got a very loud voice, or people can't hear me. And you think, well, you're not breathing, you're not using breath. And if you're not using sufficient breath, like breathing right down to the lower abdomen, like you do when you're out of breath or when you're swimming, you haven't got enough oxygen. And of course, that is a basic requirement for the feeling of confidence and the proper use of muscle.
It's very interesting. I actually just started feeling very tense watching you do that demonstration of somebody coming in with kind of hunched shoulders and stuff. I feel like I need to stretch now. So actually this is...
Sorry, no, I've got a wonderful exercise
I was just going to say, I think this is a good time for a demonstration, so give us an exercise.
Okay, well, if you're doing a lot of computer work or online a lot, as we often are nowadays, I mean, what a wonderful thing it is that we have it, as we are at the moment. It's very easy to start getting hunched over. So this is one you can do when you're still sitting down, though standing up's even better. Make sure you can move your arms out all the way around without hitting anything, hitting your finger ends, right? And it's very, very simple. You put your hands onto your shoulders and raise your elbows to shoulder level, just to shoulder level, and then out sideways. And then you no, not so far back, just straight out sideways. That's right. And everyone can do this who's watching. Imagine now, and this is the magic bit. Imagine on each elbow you have a felt tip pen.
Okay.
Next to you are two screens, like one either side, very thin paper screens. So you're going to do 5 circles on those screens, starting by going down and forwards, tiny circle to begin with. And then the last one, you're going to go right big round and out through the screens. So first one, down, forwards and up, tiny circle. Next one is a bit bigger. Take it slowly. And third one, when you're doing this on your own, and we're not aware of time, you can do it much slower than this, just enjoy it. Fourth one, oh, that's wonderful. And then fifth one, out and yeah! Right through the screens and break those screens so you can see all the way around. Destroy your wonderful circles. Now, what that does is opens out and it makes you laugh because the whoa feeling just communicates straight into your brain.
Yeah. That's a brilliant one for us to be doing in isolation as well, when you can make, well, hopefully make noise and not worry about being heard, or the people in your office looking at you in disgust.
Yes. Well, the thing in an office, get them all doing it.
Yes.
It's what we need, more oxygen.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have anything else you'd like to share with us while you're here? You mentioned tongue twisters, I think.
Oh, yeah. Tongue twisters are amazing. I mean, they're often really silly. They don't mean anything very often. But for example, it gives you huge confidence if you can say something difficult really quickly. And it sounds silly. But for example, can you understand what I say here? She sat upon a balcony, inexplicably mimicking him hiccuping and amicably welcoming him in.
Yes.
Okay, nonsense. Now, it took me 6 months to get that right.
Wow.
But if you have something simple like red lorry, yellow lorry, which a lot of us did when we were kids, or edited it. Edited it. If you can say it slowly, get it right, take it a bit faster, bit faster. You find you can whip through that with great clarity. And clarity of speech, clear speech, is the thing that helps people understand you the first time. I was talking about meetings. Very often the people who can't be heard are so nervous that their lips go stiff, their tongue goes thick, and they find it very difficult to speak clearly because everything's seized up. If you practice things like tongue twisters, and you can find loads of them online, some of them quite rude actually, but once you get them accurate, they're okay. They're great for sharing. Being able to do one fast actually tones the muscles in your mouth that create words. And it just gives you confidence to know you can do that, and a party trick too, just for fun. Voice is fun, and we should celebrate that.
I 100% agree, absolutely, in whatever form, singing, speaking, reciting, anything. Would you like to give us a tongue twister slowly that people can maybe practice, something not too long, that people have a chance of remembering and practicing slowly and speeding up?
Yes, what about a proper cup of coffee is a proper coffee cup. The second cup of coffee, you could put it on the website. A proper cup of coffee is a proper coffee cup. The second bit is a proper crop of poppies is a proper poppy crop.
Oh, good Lord.
Well, if anyone wants to chase that up, you've got my details. Or I can send it to you. Excellent. Or there is also the one I mentioned, red lorry, yellow lorry. Mm-hmm. Or unique New York.
Oh, blimey.
That's a very short one. Unique New York. Really simple till you try and say it fast. And the N comes in everywhere.
Unique New blah. Yeah. I just get stuck. I just actually get stuck halfway through. I guess I tighten up.
You just do it slowly, and then your tongue gets used to it. Mm. And then in a week's time, you'll come back to it and think, oh, I can do that.
Right, that's my challenge. A week today, I'm going to demonstrate this tongue twister live on this show and get it right. Okay.
Excellent. 6 times through, fast.
Which one? Give me a challenge. Which one am I going to
Unique New York.
Unique New York. Okay, 6 times fast in a week's time. Brilliant. Okay. We're getting towards the end of our time, actually. So
we haven't actually talked about Leeds World Voice Day.
No, I was going to say that. So actually what we should just touch on very quickly is World Voice Day, and the British Voice Association presumably has some stuff going on to celebrate that. So what's going on, and how can people find out more?
The British Voice Association is there to help people. They have, among other things, lists of voice and singing teachers, spoken voice and singing teachers in every area of the country. You just apply to the British Voice Association, which is the usual W's, britishvoiceassociation.org, I think. .uk, that's right. And they have information, also leaflets which help on all sorts of voice problems, like perennial colds, what you do with them, how to avoid getting a sore throat for weeks on end, help for people to relax, and so on.
Amazing.
And I only know what's going on in my area for Leeds Voice Day, World Voice Day, which is Leeds Voice Day. We had a session planned to do a group thing so people could get used to talking to a small audience, but we've moved it online, and I'm doing my individual coaching online, and Leeds Voice Day on Thursday is doing clear speaking, which is an online session to help people who are hoping to do more in the way of podcasting and so on, because there are so many dull podcasts around and so many excellent ones, and very often the difference is not the visuals but the sound. And we aim to help people make their voices match their technical competence.
Excellent.
That's Thursday, but of course we're running these every fortnight or so. And during the lockdown, the Leeds Voice Day coaching is free.
Wow.
Group sessions.
That's amazing.
I'm coaching online. I've reduced my prices whilst the lockdown is on, because I think it's so important to people to hear a kindly human voice. And it's a good chance for everyone to take a breath and enjoy that gift. Human voice is a gift.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there we go. If any of you watching are inspired to hone a new skill or work on your voice for whatever reason, there are some ideas on things you can do. So obviously the sort of advantage right now is that everything is actually online. So you don't have to find a voice coach who's in your area. Online is very much an option. So if anybody watching, if you're inspired to do some work on your voice while you might maybe have a bit more time, Rin is putting some of the links and stuff next to the video, or get in touch with us if you have any questions. We can pass them on, or put you in contact with Jane or anybody else if that's helpful. So that's brilliant. Thank you very much. It's great to acknowledge World Voice Day a couple of days in advance.
It's happening all week.
Mm-hmm.
So, and possibly for months in some countries. It's worldwide.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you for inviting me to come on this. I'll look forward to hearing more interviews from the Library Hub.
Fantastic. Thank you. Speaking of which, I am now going to pass it over to Rin, my co-host, who is going to tell you all a bit more about the Upper Norwood Library Hub. That's a tongue twister in itself. Live streaming program, because we have a big live streaming program and it's ever changing and growing. So Rin, tell us a bit about what's going on this week.
Hello. So we have our kids stories at 10:30 every morning. As I said, it's going forward. We're adding a couple more folks in there, so we should have a full kids program every day at 10:30. And then obviously Crib Notes happens at 11, which is great. More singing. So we were going to start the Gothic storytelling last night, but I was eyeball deep in funding applications and could not get it set up in time. So we hope to be starting it tonight, if any good. So that's Gothic and Victorian book reading at 10 o'clock at night, which is around about everybody's bedtime now that we have nothing to do in the evenings. We also have all of our yoga classes are free, and Nicola's meditation class. We're working on Nicola's sound bath. Sound for her sound bath on a Thursday, so that may or may not happen this week. Remember, folks, that all of these events are run by people in the community, and sometimes they just don't happen, and that's just the way of it. I can't, you get what you pay for. That's all I can say. That's what you get in life. Something else we do have this week, which we didn't have last week, is The Wrap, which is a movie review show by Adam Westgate. And he's going to do that for us. I think it's at 3 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock on a Friday. We'll have a movie review show. There you go. That's a tongue twister in itself. And I'll hand back to Eleanor. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Brilliant. I just have a couple of updates actually from earlier shows, so and things that might be useful for you guys. So the first thing to say is SE19 Lates, and I think Crystal Palace Festival, I'm not sure if it's in conjunction or quite who's organising it, but they are creating a local directory of small businesses to help us all know where we can shop. So, food shops, who's delivering, what other shops are still open. So I know there's a few like Decorum, I think Papagayo, Bookseller Crow, The Secret Garden, I think among others, non-food shops are delivering during this time. And obviously there's loads of food shops, like the Haynes Lane Market is still open, but in a different form. The Crystal Palace Flower Company and the Alma together are kind of doing food deliveries collection and stuff. Four Boroughs, Dalhousie, Chas Momo's, Blowing Dandelion, they are all offering some kind of service, collection or delivery or both at this time. So if you're like me, kind of dreading the thought of having to go to Sainsbury's or anything, wait in big queues, there are lots of other options around, and the local independent ones. So it's really worth having a look at this directory. And if you are a small business that is still continuing to operate during this time, please go and add yourself to it. So it's covid19-mylocal.uk, and it's spread around Facebook, Twitter, everything. If you look up SE19 Lates or Crystal Palace Festival, you will find the information about this. Please do go add yourself businesses, because the more of you are on there, the more we can support you during this time. Then the Friends of Gypsy Hill are also creating an interactive map of the Gypsy Hill plus the Triangle area, again, to show where all the businesses are that are operating and give information about that. It is interactive, you can add and change things. So again, please do go have a look at that and help them. You can access that through their Facebook page, the Friends of Gypsy Hill. And then finally, I just wanted to add sort of a good news story, another good news story, because I think both those things are great. That we had a guy last week on the show called Tony Kemp, who has been using his 3D printer to create personal protective equipment for NHS workers. And he was here last Wednesday. I think he's still he's got a crowdfunding page on GoFundMe, and he's I can't remember quite how much he's aiming to raise. He's still a way off it, but in the meantime, he's doing it anyway. And so, if you want to go find his page or look back to last Wednesday's interview and find it from there, that'd be great. He would love some support. It's just to enable him to help, to create more. The more money he raises, the more protective equipment he can make. But in the last, since we saw him on Wednesday, he's made 50 visors, 30 masks, and 30 face shields, which have all gone to local NHS places to help protect our NHS staff and key workers at this time. So please go have a look. Rin's actually put the link up for you. Do please have a look. That is something that anybody can get involved with and just help something, an amazing initiative at this point. So that's all from us today. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow at midday. Have a good day. Bye.
Bye. Bye.